Charles Barkley blames Caitlin Clark for a major fault that the 76ers legend himself faced during early NBA days. "Nobody gives me advice in game," Clark said after facing an 89-77 defeat by the Seattle Storm. "That is past now. There's a lot more partnership and trust among the Indiana Fever players, including Clark, as they forge ahead. It's been a great shift, and it would have happened much earlier if there hadn't been a mistake on Clark's end," Charles Barkley points out. The NBA legend, who played for 3 teams during his career, also faced similar issues. Barkley noted how Clark has now learned to trust her teammates more, leading to better outcomes, which wasn't the case earlier. "Some of that's her fault," he starts after Bill Simon, the podcast host, brings up how the Indiana Fever has been playing as a team off late, unselfishly. "She's learning now that I can play without a ball," Barkley adds. Drawing a parallel to his own experience during his early years in the NBA, Barkley recalled his time with the Phoenix Suns, where playing alongside Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson made the game easier. "Playing without the ball is much easier, like for me. I can use myself as an example. Not that it's about me when I got traded to Phoenix and they gave me Dan Marley. Kevin Johnson and those guys, man," the Phoenix Suns legend said on the Bill Simmons podcast. He won the MVP title that year while he led the team to the NBA Finals. That was a drastic change from his time before in the Philadelphia 76ers. Barkley also reflected on his Olympic stint with the most star-studded team ever, which brought him back to trust his teammates. A similar shift to what Clark has been seeing since the Olympic break. "It goes back to the stuff I told you about the Olympics. Man, it was just so easy for me to play basketball because I didn't have to make every pass and I didn't have to score every basket, yeah. And I think Caitlin is learning that now. Like, oh, I can trust her and her teammates." The Fever, too, has been exceptional since the Olympic break, becoming the best offense in the league since August 1. "It looks like the Olympic break did them all good." Charles Barkley believes the Olympic snub was better for Caitlin Clark. There have been verbal angry sighs on social media following Clark's snub from the Olympics roster. But how did the Fever rookie feel about it? "Oh, I need the break," Clark said. Although the snub was a bitter pill to swallow, the break turned out to be advantageous for her. On the same podcast, Barkley said, "I'll tell you what really good happened to her not making the Olympic team. She traveled to Mexico, attended a friend's wedding, visited the New York Yankees clubhouse, and enjoyed some time off the court, Indiana fair and gym with her teammates, all the while recharging for the WNBA season. After a grueling stretch of games from the NCAA to WNBA, the break was much needed for the rookie. She also felt that this time allowed her to better understand her teammates. I think you can tell I'd gotten more comfortable over the last few games heading into the break," Clark said. As the No. 1 team in PPG, 91.1, 3P%, 40.7%, and offensive rating, 111.0 since August, the Fever made it to the WNBA playoffs for the first time since 2016. Now with that in place, it seems that the ROTY title might not be too far off for the Indiana star. Stay tuned for more such updates and join us for the exciting second episode of the Dual Threat Show as our host BG12 sits down with Georgia Bulldogs star and Mountain West all-freshman team selection, Asia Avigner,